Hey, I'm Peony, and today we're having a tutorial about drawing ears. But first, let's discuss about ear anatomy. The ear is connected to the head at a cartilage named concha. This hook shape around the concha is helix. The bottom of the ear has a soft pillow-shaped cartilage, which is the earlobe. A Y shape inside the ear is the evil twin of the helix, which is called antihelix. On the side, there's a bump called tragus, and just across from it is the other evil twin, antitragus. Between these two, there's a valley called ear notch, and this is the ear hole, which is the deepest and darkest zone in the ear. And finally, there's a concave part right on top of the Y shape, which is called triangular fossa. There are some minor parts in here. A flap of cartilage that sticks out on the other side of the antitragus. And there's another concave part here that forms the Y shape with this one. The helix or the hook shape, which I'm showing it with blue, is very much like a question mark. And the earlobe could be the dot of the question mark. I'm gonna show the Y shape or antihelix with orange. And I show the tragus in green color, which is connected to the antitragus with a curved line. And as it goes up, it attaches to this wall. These are the main three parts of the ear. And by drawing them, you have almost completed the ear. Ears are actually like megaphone. I will draw a lighter one here and draw the parts of the ear on it so that you can better understand what I mean. If you look almost from the front, the helix covers the mouth of the megaphone. Below the helix, the tragus is placed, which looks a little flat from the front view, and the antihelix fills the inside of the megaphone. Ear is always placed at a slight angle from the head, so I draw a slanted line to indicate the position of the ear. Then I draw something like an egg shape or an oval inclined to the right. Simplify the ear into a few lines and add a small distance from this line. And draw a slanted line like this and draw another line here. Continue the lines along the oval. I'm doing this because I want the oval to be not too round and be more angular to indicate the shape of the ear. In the earlobe section, slightly move away from the oval and make the line inclined to the left, because in this part the earlobe becomes a little narrow. Right in the middle of the line, draw a bump for the tragus that curves inwards. The helix starts inside the ear, attached to the concha. There's an angle here that points out a little. This part of the helix is usually in the shadow since it's inside the ear. Continue this curve along the helix and end it to a wavy line. At the bottom, the helix and antihelix connect to the earlobe. Extend your strokes down and then curve it up to the right. The antihelix has two branches. The upper branch is wide and soft, and the lower one is thin and sharp. Now I want to connect these broken lines to give it a more uniform shape. Add a bump on the other side of the antitragus. Now I erase the guidelines with kneaded eraser and make the outlines lighter and redraw them with my mechanical pencil. Then it's time for shading. With an HB pencil, I apply an even layer of graphite to my drawing. Try to shade a very light and soft layer at this stage because you don't want to darken the highlights too much. I use a tissue to blend this layer to make it smooth. I will make my outline a little darker again because it is faded. At the top, the helix usually casts a shadow on the branches of the antihelix. With the 4B pencil, first of all, I lightly shade the darkest areas of the ear so that the range of my shadows can be approximately determined. As the helix comes out, it will be hit by light, and as it curls around the ear, the placement of the shadow will slowly change. Also, add a cast shadow around the ear on the skin. I will darken my strokes again because it seems like they are fading into my shadows. Take the 6B pencil and introduce a darker value to these spots. Blend the shadows again with tissue and soften the outlines with a 6B pencil and try to give it a smooth gradation to the edges and slightly fade the outlines into the shadows. Instead of using outline, use sharper shadows for the places where you want to define the border of the darkness. For the darker areas, shade more to create depth. Shade less for light areas and use the color of the paper to show the highlights to give it a good contrast. Focus on defining the shapes and edges of the light and dark patterns, making the transition from dark to light appear more gradual. Add some halftones as you work your way towards the highlights. Try to shade each plane as you're shading a cylinder. These volumes must feel round. Create a shadow along the edge of the earlobe, but keep the very edge lighter to show the light reflection bounces off the neck. You can make your shadows darker layer by layer and add a layer of graphite in each step and then blend. I'm just going along these edges, shading it very slightly to show that they have a round curve. Use a tissue for the larger parts and blend the smaller shadows with cotton swabs so that the shadows don't smear. When you draw some outlines, be sure to work on them more so that the lines won't remain in your drawing, and fade them into the shadows. This way the drawing will look more natural. Pay attention that I did not shade the middle part of the anti-helix too much to show its round shape. I like to go back to darken the shadow areas. You can even make the highlights a little brighter with kneaded eraser. I made the edges of the helix lighter and add highlights to the areas that I needed to be brighter. And as usual, I recommend you to double check the drawing and fix wherever you need to. And that's it for today's tutorial. If you have any question about this tutorial, I'll be glad to help you with. Thank you for watching. Take a look at my channel and consider subscribing. Bye for now.